I'm trying the microphone by here. When I'm editing some of the videos, the voice and the video seemed a bit out of sync because I've been putting the microphone by here. So I'm trying it by there today. Today it's Sunday the 15th of February. Yeah, Sunday the 15th of February. So yesterday was the 14th. It was Valentine's Day. I've recorded maybe 3 videos where I've talked about Valentine's and my feelings this year. I got cookies again. I wanted a savoury snack, but I worry about getting savoury snacks because when I get savoury snacks, they all stick in my tooth, and I'm worried about appearing on camera with stuff stuck in my tooth. My tooths are quite good at the moment. So I've got pancakes as well. I also got cat food, so I've got a coffee and cookies and pancakes to try and get me to look at the camera rather than the screen. If I put that there, yeah, I'm more likely to look at the camera, so I can't see the screen. Sunday the 15th of February. I haven't taken an antihistamine yet. I didn't have any breakfast, but I have just eaten part of the cookie. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. I have recorded several videos over the past week talking about my thoughts and feelings about the day and what I wanted to do and what I felt I couldn't do. I haven't put those videos out yet. It's taken me about 20 times to start this video. For some reason, I just feel less like making videos today. I want to make a video, but I don't feel relaxed enough. More coffee. Maybe I need more coffee. Because I went out and got gas this morning, and I've been to Morrison's to do a little bit of shopping. I'm running around, and so when I woke up this morning, I thought, I'm going to make this nice video. I'm going to go in the shower and get changed, go out, make a video. But of course, I had gas to do, and I got other errands to do, and it just takes the feeling away. Valentine's. So I wanted to give her a gift. After a lot of thought, I've decided I will not, and I have a method how I've come up with that. I've decided that I won't send her a gift. But I can always send her a gift another time. It doesn't have to be for Valentine's. And maybe I'm overthinking the significance of Valentine's. Because in other countries, it's more casual than it is here. So, yes, stop saying so. So let's just move on. It's the 15th now anyway. I know I need to open these videos with some profound statement, then tell a story. I would like to tell you about how I developed... and open these videos. I need to open with a profound statement and talk about one subject in the video, and then make that the subject of the video, and that's how that video gets popular, because people look for that one particular subject or that one particular thing. And I'm just ranting on about whatever comes to my mind in these videos. I know that. And I've written in my notes, I would like to tell you about how I developed split attraction and fall into limerence, but I cannot without being too personal about my life. Maybe one day. So that's the sort of opener, and that's the sort of thing that if you're making one video on one subject, you have to have one profound title and then have the whole video on that one subject, or investigating that one subject. So maybe that's the sort of thing, just talking about split attraction or just talking about limerence, and maybe we can make a few more videos on and life control is what I've written in my notes as well. Life control. I've struggled with life control. This has come from a thought this morning because my father threw away my Pocky boxes. I had a large collection of empty pocky boxes. Because we're talking about the 90s, early 2000s, the 1990s, when I had my first chance to take trips away on my own. On my own. And I went to London. Yeah, I went to London on my own. I stayed with a relative not far from London, and I got the train and the underground, and it's the first time in the underground on my own. Because I've been on the underground before when I was very small. My parents took me to London when I was very small. We're talking about 4 or 5 years old. But then I went in, I don't know what it was. It might have been 1999, 2000, 2001, something like that. Collected whatever savings I have. I think it was only about £100, not even that. And I thought, I'm going to have a couple of days in London. Trip on my own, travelling on the train, went into London. Yeah, what I wanted to do is I found out about this Asian mall up in Colindale, so I had to get there. So I learned it's easy using the underground. I knew I didn't want to mess around. I'm still not 100% how you get point-to-point tickets on the underground and London Transport. I still don't understand. So I'd rather buy an all-day, everyday pass ticket. When I was in Paris, I did the same. I bought what was it, €7 to pass and use all the metro services in Paris. Yeah, so that's what I did in London. Every time I've been to London like 3 or 4 times now, and I do exactly the same. I buy the all-day pass. I know you can use it on buses, can't you? But I only ever travel on the underground because I'm more comfortable on the underground. I know it gets crowded at times. I know it does. But you can navigate quite easily, and the map is good, so you can navigate easily on the map. So Colindale. I knew that the station I had to go was Edgware Road, and there's several Edgware Roads. I think there's a couple of Edgware Roads, isn't there? Different spellings. But there's an Edgware Road up to the north. But the map is easy to navigate, and once you get used to changing trains, and I mean, I did this when I went overseas when I had the JR pass, Japan Rail pass, and you just it's the same sort of thing. You just look at the map and you just boom, boom, boom. You got a pass that'll just send you straight through the gates. You can change trains easily. Maybe it's the wrong idea buying cookies. It's getting stuck in my tooth. I'm sick of stuff being stuck in my tooth. Could just not eat on camera. Should I start up the blowers again so I get a bit of heat in here? Put the blowers on. I don't know what the blowers are going to look like because the microphone's in a different position. So I don't know how the blowers are going to sound. I mean, the air, because I don't have air conditioning in the car. It's just hot air, cold air with a control. Where was I? Pocky boxes. Yeah, pocky boxes. So what are you doing? What are we talking about? Yeah, I stayed with a relative not far from London, and then I got the underground in. 27 years ago. So I got comfortable using the underground. I visited... Where did I visit? I visited a small cafe near... I visited a small cafe near the British Museum. A Korean cafe. I'll try and get the name of this Korean cafe now. When I was on my trip to London. Bibimbap Cafe. Bibimbap Cafe. I believe it's a Korean cafe, wasn't it? Bibimbap Cafe. Yeah, it's Korean. It's a Korean cafe. I went in there, and that was the first place I ever tried green tea. That's the first place I ever tried green tea. Yeah, I got to go there. I got to visit there again. I'd like to I've talked to my mother about taking my mother for trips to London, so maybe I'd like to take my mother there. But then my mother is, hard of. She can't go very far. My mother can't go very far, so whether. Yeah, I'd like to take my mother there on a day trip to London. Because we've talked about day trips to London. Yeah, sorry, we're just looking at maps now. That was good. That was good. So I didn't go in the British Museum, but I went in the Science Museum and I went in the Natural History Museum. Yeah, that's right. Because I had a list of things I wanted to do when I first went to London on my own. And one of the things at the top of the list was to see the Alcock and Brown Vickers Vimy, because it's on the top floor of the Science Museum. So I had to go and see that, and I had to walk around it. I'd seen it on a school trip when I was very young, but I didn't know what it was, and I wasn't aware of its significance. But I think that is an awesome exhibit. The actual Vimy, the first aircraft to fly across the Atlantic. It's in the Science Museum. Yeah, that's an awesome thing. That's an absolutely awesome thing. You can see where they just filled the fuselage with barrels of fuel to get it across. Yeah, traveling across the Atlantic at about, top speed was 90 knots, something like that. That's absolutely awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So I went and saw that. There's other significant exhibits up there in the top floor of the Science Museum. All the aviation exhibits. All the aviation exhibits upstairs. They've got one of the early, I don't think it's a prototype, but one of the early British Aerospace HS-125s. I believe they've got the little Gloucester prototype, the first jet aircraft. Isn't that there as well? A big selection of engines. Yeah, a big selection of engines, and I remember looking at the Napier Lion. They got a Napier Lion there. They got the cutout of a 747, and they've got a like one rib where they've got seating installed in it, and they have a wheel of the Beardmore Inflexible in the Science Museum. Yeah, the Inflexible. When was it flying? It's got to be 1920s or something. It was like the late 20s, because 1934 was a DC-3, so the DC-1 and 2 was flying for a couple of years before then, but the Inflexible must have predated those, because the Inflexible was an aircraft that, to prove that large monoplanes could work, the aircraft didn't have to be biplanes. And it had extremely large main gear wheels, and one of those wheels is in the Science Museum on the top floor. Yeah, so there was a list of things I wanted to see in the Science Museum, so I went to the Science Museum. I've been back there once when I took my father there, but we didn't have a lot of time because I tried to drive and take the underground in, but we didn't leave early enough. I need to do that again. I need to practice that again, maybe go to London, practice driving and going into the centre on my own. How many days did I go in for? It must have been 3 nights, because I wouldn't have had enough time in the day to get to do the Science Museum, Natural History Museum, visit that cafe and go. Yeah, I must have gone for 2 days, maybe 3, because I wouldn't have had enough time to go around, visit the cafe, go shopping, because I'm sure I walked down Oxford Street and looked around. Yeah, because I went into Mitsukoshi. Yeah, that was at Piccadilly. That's when I bought my books. That's where I bought my study books. That's right. I bought my study books. I bought my study books in London. I bought my study books in Mitsukoshi, and downstairs in Mitsukoshi, where they had the bookstore. They had the bookstore, Nihon Bookstore. So I had a shopping day, I had the museums day, and I had a day to Colindale. So I must have gone at least 2 days, maybe 3 days. I can't remember. It's a long time ago now. Well, that's right. There was another Nihon store in London, in Piccadilly, round the corner. And they had all the DVDs. That's where I bought my Studio Ghibli DVDs. That's right. I bought them there. I bought the double ones, the import. That's right. I did that. Yes, I bought those. I bought my DVDs. I bought a bunch of DVDs. And I bought some study books. Right. There's an Asian mall in Colindale. Colindale. Is that how you pronounce Colindale? Colindale? Up near Hendon. So I'd love to go to the museum in Hendon. That's a place I haven't been. As an aviation enthusiast, you'd think I would have been to Hendon, but I haven't. I can remember being on the tube, on the underground, and becoming comfortable with changing trains. So it was quite far out of the centre, up to the Colindale station. Yeah, I can remember sitting on the train, this train, and thinking, this is taking longer than I thought. This is taking longer than I thought to get out the centre. And I thought we're going to get too far away, or there's not going to be enough time. Sorry, you got a Honda HR-V now stopping right in front of me, like inches from the bonnet. That's an interesting car with the 3 abreast seating. Not HR-V, FR-V, sorry. FR-V. Sorry, they're distracting me now, so I will have a cookie while I'm waiting. While I'm waiting. Dogs! 4 dogs! 5 dogs, because you had the little one to come out later. It was taking longer than I thought to go up to Colindale. I was worried it would take too long, but I eventually got there. I can remember the station goes underneath, and then it goes underneath a bridge, and there's a road that goes over. And the station is on this confluence of a road and the underground lines, and there's a few shops up there. As you come out of the exit to Colindale station, there's a few shops there. So I walked out, and I thought to myself, it's not far to Hendon, so I want to see the entrance to the museum, just to see the entrance to the museum. So I started walking to the left, started walking east. Thought, I want to see the entrance to the museum. But as I got like a few hundred metres up the road, I thought, no, there's not enough time. So I turned around. I never saw the entrance to the Hendon Museum. So I went the other way. I wanted to get to this mall. The mall is long since demolished, but the mall's there. In 27 years ago, the mall was there. So I walked the other way. And again, this road was longer than I thought, because you had to get to this main road, which is Edgware Road, one of the Edgware roads, because I'm sure there's 2 Edgware roads. So I had to go up to this Edgware Road and go further north. I hadn't had maps at this time. I didn't have maps, but I'd looked at it on the desktop. Of course, I didn't have a phone on me, so I just had mentally remembered the route. Yeah, I can remember walking along the road, walking to Edgware Road. Then you had to turn north and then go a little way up Edgware Road, and then you can see this mall. I went inside. Yeah, there's a lot of Asian shops, a lot of eateries. There's a lot of restaurants in there. I don't want to go to a posh restaurant. All I was interested in, there was a bookshop and a food shop, like a superstore that sold Asian food, a big superstore sold Asian food. So I went into this superstore. Can't remember what it was called. At that time, I wouldn't have been able to pronounce it properly anyway. But, I was still interested. It was still my early days of learning other languages. And, of course, that trip is where I bought my Mina no Nihongo books. It was when I actually bought them. So I went into this thing, and I found, on the back wall, there's a big thing of Pocky. I'd seen Pocky in animated series. I've heard about it, heard other people talk about it. This is long before Glico released, because Glico is a company that makes them. Glico are based in Osaka. When I was in Osaka, you go past, when you're approaching the main station, you go past the office building, says Glico on the side. Yeah, long before Glico released Pocky here, but the Pocky here is renamed, Mikado? Which is strange, because we already had biscuits in this country called Mikado, and that's the biscuits with the marshmallow and jam on top. And I haven't seen them on sale for a long time. Well, what happened to those? Like 8 blobs of marshmallow with like coconut on top and jam. On a little biscuit, on a soft biscuit. It used to be really soft. It wasn't meant to be a soft biscuit, but I think they were always out in parties yours went soft. What happened to those? Anyway, this was the first time I seen Pocky on sale. I can remember the first one I picked up was a milk Pocky, a blue milk Pocky. It's interesting, milk, because milk is it doesn't say Gyunu on it. It says Miraku rather than Gyunu. And the Miraku is written in hiragana rather than katakana, and that's what I remembered, because it was strange. Like, because it's a foreign word, you think it should be written in katakana, but it wasn't. It was written in hiragana, and I remember that was particularly interesting. Of the milk Pocky, I'm sure it was a blue packet, because I also bought strawberry ones, which was like the white and pink, and they had the red ones, the original red ones. That was good. So I had those Pockies the first time I tried it, and yeah, they were really nice. I managed to try them for the first time. But I kept the boxes because it was such a special experience for me getting them. I kept the boxes. And I brought them all the way home, and I had the boxes in the back room. And going back to this point of this story, recently, last month, my father picked them up and threw them all out. And it's upsetting me because I feel as if I have no control in my life. I felt I couldn't do anything to stop it because I don't have the level of independence. So I want more control in my life. Like, I'm making these videos in the car because it's my only personal space. But that's the point of this story. It was a big thing for me all those years ago to go into London and buying the Pocky boxes and just keeping the empty boxes. But when I've actually been to Nihon and I've always made sure, on my 2 trips, I've always made sure that things like I will bring a selection of water bottles I had, or tea. You know, when I bought the tea, the cold tea from the vending machines. I think I've got 1 or 2 of the Costa bottles. And I'll bring some empty packets back from when I was away. On my trips there, have I bought any Pocky boxes back? Actual original Pocky boxes from there? I don't think I have. But I've got other boxes. I've actually bought when I went away. But the ones from London were different because they were the first. I know it's just London. So, I mean, I've bought actual things from Osaka, from Kobe, from Himeji and places. And I've actually got those. But the ones from London, even though it's just London, they were the first. It was my first piece of independence. Going away and being independent. Having my own self-determination. It feels like a piece of me has been taken away. And I know it's only just a tiny piece. It's just a couple of boxes. Just a few boxes. That's the end of the story. That's the end of the story. But what about self-control and self-determination? You know, something that's really important to me. It's something I really want to work towards. Like, I've applied for I've had the interview to get my old job back again. I've had this interview to get my job back. And once I get an income, it will be a bit more independence. Because my dream is to experience a relationship. That's why I made this channel. Talk about limerence and relationships. So I've got nowhere to put my arms, and you haven't got enough of a view, so I don't have a desk like other people do. I'm trying to push myself up so I'm better framed on the screen. I've got half the screen covered anyway, so I can't see myself. So I can look into more likely to look into the camera. So I can't see what I look like at the moment. But in a relationship, would you have the same self-determination? I mean, in my perfect married life video, we would have separate rooms and separate lives, but we'd still be living together and still do things together. Still go on day trips, still plan everything together, still living together, but independent as in we've got our own interests and hobbies, and I think it builds a stronger relationship. Like having separate rooms, because you've got different work times and you don't want to get each other up, and it's a way of caring for the other person because you're not disturbing them if you need to do anything at night, like go to toilet, cough, fart. Anything you need to do at night, you're not disturbing the other person. So it seems like it's a stronger relationship. It doesn't mean you have to. It has to be done all the time. You could spend time together. You could, without using uncomfortable phrases. You could spend time together, like a couple of nights of the week. That's okay. That's okay. I think that would be a perfect and even stronger relationship. I think that's a good relationship because it allows independence and self-determination and still have a really good married life, a strong married life. So this is one of the worries I had, one of the shower thoughts I had this morning, is me wanting more independence, more self-determination, and not have someone go through my things and throw away things which are important to me, like pocky boxes. Is that how people have bad relationships? Because one of the partners is not allowing them enough self-determination. Or telling people to throw something out, get rid of that thing, can you buy this, can you do this? Maybe there's too much expectations, there's too many things in relationships that people think they have to do, like stay in the same bed, eat together, or share every single task. But I think you can still have a strong relationship and still allow each other to be independent. I just don't want to lose my self-determination. I'm getting messages from my mother now, so I've got to go and see what my mother wants. See, I got to do, as soon as my parents ask me to do something, I got to do it. I'm just a taxi service sometimes. I know I need a bigger car because they struggle to get in the car. I can't afford it at the moment. That's another thing. I want to be more positive in these videos. I'm not positive right now, am I? I'm being negative. Sorry, my train of thought is gone now. I've made the point about the story. I could have done that better. I believe I could have talked about the story better. I was getting distracted. People with 5 dogs coming out of the car in front. Anyway, I got to get going. So I think it's time to stop the video and get going. I haven't even drunk all my coffee.